Okay. Do you buy all of your clothes from the same designer and the same store?
No.
No. So you can't, I just find it hard to believe that anybody would agree with everything that anybody has done, much less this one president. And you do seem to agree with everything he does.
I gave him a B+ on immigration. That's not an A.
Yeah. Right. I wonder how our next guest would grade him on several things. We aren't going to talk about those issues, but we are going to talk about Donald Trump, the man, Donald Trump, the business leader. We're going to do it with Stephen Gilpin. He is a former Trump University professor. I think that's Ivy League, correct? Trump University professor, and he's the author of a new book called Trump U, the inside story of Trump University. Welcome, Stephen, so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
So there's a lot of Trump expose books that are happening right now. Yes. Trump administration expose books, that type of thing. This one's very specific to a story that I think a lot of people have heard about but don't know too much about. You not only worked at Trump University, but you had a pretty important leadership role there. Tell us what people don't know about it.
Well, first off, a lot of people assume that this happened 10 years ago, and it really didn't. It just happened, and this case just settled on February 6th. The book came out February 20th. And then what people don't know is during the subpoena process, there was actually accredited people that actually worked there. I was one of them for many years.
What'd you teach?
I taught all aspects of real estate. Banking is my background in real estate, and real estate, actually education is still my background. I still do real estate education. I have a company called REO Tours. So we still teach real estate. Right now, we were teaching it for free every Thursday night for the masses because I'm honoring my commitment to help out these students still to this day. A lot of people don't understand, though, and one of the problems with it is what really happened. What was the inside of it? You know, we were hushed. We couldn't talk about it, for years. But now we can talk about it. And it was basically to clear my name and my involvement with it through the process. It was a bizarre ordeal from the whole subpoena process. We talk about Eric Schneiderman 36 times in the book. We talk about Michael Cohen. I even talk about Mueller and the investigation.
So there was a settlement, and
there was
$25 million to students. What exactly did they win? I mean, their complaint was that they had paid for something that was not actually helping them in any way. How do you quantify that? How do you say, yes, you paid for something and it is not valuable? Does a jury or a judge get to decide, yes, that was not valuable? I mean, what was the argument?
Basically, the complaint was, and the argument was, is that they were defrauded through their advertisements, and they actually frauded people out of their money. In most cases, that was the case. We look at that and we talk about that in our book and we write about it. And its example is high-pressured salespeople would actually upsell people into maxing out their credit cards. And these were sharks in the field.
So we just heard news about Schneiderman resigning in shame this week.
Yes.
What was your reaction to that in terms of his legacy? He's come under a lot of fire for his methods, his tactics.
Let's be very clear, though. He didn't resign in shame because of his work. Or because of his work as the Attorney General. It was a personal issue, so I think that's important to clear up.
I quote in the book, he played rough with me. When I was during the subpoena process, I write in the book about how he played rough with me and manhandled, basically me, trying to get to me to the subpoena process. Yeah, he was very rough.
But his tactics what he was going after. Do you believe that the settlement was the correct thing to do? Do you think that these people had a case and that it was valuable? And
I think the people had a case. I think that they settled too much or too early. I think, and this is one of the things I was shocked about, they could have gotten more evidence for the case simply because we recorded every live event. And you would have, if you got those recordings actually would have brought in more money. They threw a lowball offer out there for $25 million. They should have never accepted it because it could have been up to $50 million.
So I think, and I hate that we don't have more time to talk about a lot of the things that are in here, but I found one of the more fascinating things, see if you disagree as usual, one of the more fascinating things in here was the fact that you did testify on behalf of Trump.
I did.
And you took the side of Trump University, and you say something to the effect, I'm going to mess it up, but that you were the loyal servant.
I was.
And that you did what the president wanted you to do, or at the time Mr. Trump wanted you to do, and yet you weren't repaid with loyalty as well. And I
Correct.
feel like you gave a warning to those folks who are playing the same role. Tell me about that and how that's, because I think that's pertinent to what's going on in the news today with Michael Cohen.
Absolutely, and I talk about it, and I was quoted about the Mueller investigation of it. And everybody, like Cohen is an example. I was loyal. I was extremely loyal to my job and my commitment, and also going during the testifying, going with casting my fate with Trump, and not with the Attorney General in New York and the other states that were actually suing. So one of the things is that you can be loyal all you want, but as soon as he has no use for you, he's going to toss you away, and all. And one of the things I was very upset about the whole process is that he lied. He clearly lied and said he didn't know who we were. And several times he was questioned. He said he didn't recall us at all. And then he had the nerve to go on CNN, basically, and news stations, and saying that I didn't know they weren't accredited. What?
Well, like I said, we got to go. I have so many things I want to ask you. Really quick, last two things. Quickly, advice for those folks who are being loyal today. And secondly, have you heard from the president or anyone about the book?
I have not heard from the president or Cohen or anybody or Schneiderman about the book yet. I'm waiting for that day actually to happen. It's probably going to be sooner than later as soon as we
get ready to be sued.
Oh yeah.
But advice for those folks, and then we got to go.
Advice for them? You can be loyal as you want. It's going to be the problem is you got to decide on your commitment. Because you're going to be out in the street anyway.
It's interesting that books like these will be part of the record and the history of America at one point. So thank you for sharing the story.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll let your work speak for itself. So
Stephen Gilpin,
we're going to disagree about a lot, but I appreciate you
That's
coming
okay.
on.
I disagree with her all the time. I'm glad you're here. Stephen Gilpin, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
What do you disagree with, huh? I'm kidding. You don't have to do that. I mean, listen. We should do that again. But I think that listen. We can't just agree with the things that we like.
No, I agree.
And disagree with
I
things
agree.
we don't like.
I think though what this whole investigation has shown is that justice. There's a reason that justice is blind on the statues because justice is imperfect. And very often is very politicized.
And there's sometimes we win and there's sometimes we lose, but we can't always just be happy about the times we win and say it's wrong, the people were wrong, and justice wasn't carried through when we lose.
I agree. But I think that investigations are certainly politicized, and they have a lot of motives behind them sometimes too. But I want justice to happen. I just think we should have another segment about it.
Then let's do that.